Now, on Monday, the ban on international travel was lifted, but over the last few days, there has been conflicting information on what is and isn't allowed.
Well, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has now said that no one should be holidaying in countries on the amber list, despite other ministers saying that this was acceptable if people followed the quarantine rules on their return.
Also, to add further confusion, earlier this week, Health Minister Lord Bethell claimed that any international travel is dangerous and that people should stay in this country this year.
So, if you've booked a holiday, should you stay or should you go? Our travel expert Simon Calder joins us now. This is a proper mess, isn't it?
It's absolutely extraordinary. Exactly as you say, Holly, after 19 weeks on Monday, the ban, we've never had anything like it before, on international leisure travel was lifted. So any of us could walk out the studio, go anywhere we want to. The government, it turns out, absolutely doesn't expect us to take any advantage of that except to go to the green list countries. And frankly, this is a joke of a list. There's 12 countries on it, of which only really Portugal, as well as Gibraltar and Iceland, are meaningful destinations. And even Iceland won't let you in until you've had both your jabs.
I'm thinking I might go to the South Sandwich Islands.
South Sandwich Islands this time of year are a little bit fresh. They're quite close to the coast of Antarctica. So, as you say, the Health Minister, Lord Bethell, said don't go abroad at all. The Prime Minister, the Transport Secretary and the Health Secretary are now all saying, yeah, well, we said you could go, but we don't want you to go, not to amber list countries or red list countries, so please don't. But the bizarre thing is, all they needed to do was say, you know, this ban we've had on international travel, we're going to keep it in place, but we're going to let you go to these 12 countries on the green list. Those are the only exceptions. But instead, they're saying, please don't go there. And we're saying, well, you said we could.
Is it the amber that's confusing? Should there be green and red? You can go here, don't go anywhere else.
Well, that's effectively what the government is saying. And bear in mind that what we're talking about here are the very specific rules when you come back. So I've just got back from beautiful Portugal, absolutely lovely. But I had to take a test before I went out there, then have a test as I was out there, and then another test booked for when I came back and fill in a form and everything. That's still far better than the amber list countries where I have to come in.
You must have spent more time testing than walking down a beach.
Oh, exactly. I'd certainly spent longer filling in the forms and getting everything sorted out than I did on the flipping plane.
Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah. It was
there you
great.
go then,
24 hours of sunshine. It was blissful. And coming back on the plane, only 13 of us. It was like an executive jet. Yeah, we're ready for you now, sir. On you get. It was fantastic. 12 seats each.
If you are planning to travel to an amber destination, say you've already got a holiday booked up, what rights do you have? I mean, is there an automatic refund then if you're not allowed to travel?
No, it all depends. Right, to complicate things, while most of the government is saying, don't go to an amber country, it's amber, don't go there, the Foreign Office, which decides on whether places are dangerous for us to go to or not, says, actually, we think the Canaries are fine, off you go. Or these lovely Greek islands like Kos, like Zakynthos, like Rhodes, like Corfu. Those are fine at the moment. We don't advise against going, which means that holiday companies can happily send you to those places, and they are. And if you want your money back, they'll say, but we can take you there. And you can say, well, but I don't want to quarantine when I get back. And they can say, well, that's frankly not our problem. We'll deliver the holiday you booked. What happens to you after that isn't our problem, but we will let you change. And airlines are still going in. I mean, we've heard, oh, all right, no flights going out. The first 50 flights to amber list countries from Heathrow this morning, just from one airport, so probably carrying, I don't know, 5,000 or 8,000 people. That's just happened. So 50 flights so far this morning to amber list countries. Plenty of people are going there.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost back to the go to work, don't go to work speech that we heard. But it seems like it's a gamble. When you or the stock market, you invest in the stock market and they say never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's like that. So be prepared to lose your money.
Oh, yeah, look, travel is for the bold and the desperate. I'm not sure which category I'm in, but certainly...
You're always bold.
Certainly desperate. Right, so I knew while I was out there something might have happened. Portugal might have gone on the red list, in which case... Not only am I not going to be able to come in and see you, I'm going to be stuck in a hotel outside Heathrow on Isolation Row, for which I'm paying £1,750. You know, sorting that out for a family is impossible. Now, I think it's an extremely low chance, but it's not a zero risk chance. And so, yes, everything is fraught with uncertainty this summer. It's just awful because millions of people simply want an escape.
Well, the travel industry want you to go.
Oh, the
so
travel industry.
Them.
Well, here we have EasyJet just announced £701 million of losses in 6 months. That's about £4 million a day they are losing because they can't take people on holiday.
There's a bit of confusion with travel insurance, isn't there, as well?
Yes. OK, your travel insurance is never going to cover you for that eventuality of suddenly finding you're in a red or an amber list country and all the costs which goes with that. Your travel insurance may, if you've got a really sophisticated one, cover you for the situation where you've booked a trip and suddenly you find you can't go because of government rules, but that's probably quite rare. They will generally, but you need to check this, cover you for COVID if you were unfortunate enough to contract it abroad. But they are not going to be handing out money for a refund, I'm afraid, because, well, apart from anything else, they've had a horrible pandemic as well as everybody else related to the travel industry, and partly because they just say it's uninsurable risk.
Well, Priti Patel has revealed plans for up to 10,000 quarantine checks every day to make sure returning Britons obey the 10-day quarantine rules. Now, I know someone who fell foul of this, a friend of a friend of a friend, who said, yes, I'm isolating, and wasn't. And they got a phone call to say, you're isolating? Yes, I'm isolating. OK, could you just pop to the front door, please? And they weren't there.
Right.
And got fined, I think it was £5,000.
Yeah, well, look, if you are going to travel, you need to find out what the rules are, and you need absolutely to stick to every single line and letter of the law. You absolutely have to. You know, it's a privilege to be able to travel. If you're going to do it, stick to the rules.
Absolutely. We've got Alison on the line now, calling from Glasgow. Hi, Alison.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. So you've got a question about TUI. Explain to Simon what you need.
Well, hi, Simon. Yes, just in my daughter's situation, they have booked a group booking for a holiday in Zante. It's really the problem of having to rearrange at this point. They've been told they have to rearrange by the 3rd of June, but TUI won't cancel until the 10th of June. TUI are not even travelling to Zante from Glasgow next year, which obviously means they can't rearrange for next year. There are 9 in this booking altogether, but it's a school leave occasion, so there was around 100 17, 18-year-olds in all descending on Zante on the 17th of June. They're just not going to get the experience that they booked for because there's a curfew of 11 p.m. The clubs won't be open. Movement around the resort is restricted. They have to wear a face mask at all times, I believe. And also, again, to rearrange, this is going to be logistically difficult, if not near impossible, because they're all going off in different directions to university. It's going to be very difficult to get them all
in an ideal world, they'd like a refund, but that's not...
Well, in an ideal world, they shouldn't have booked in the first place.
Well, I absolutely understand. Lots of people have booked trips. They've been told by that things were looking good, particularly if you go back to, say, last September, where I dare say they were deciding to set this up. They would have said, yeah, of course, it's looking good. We're all going to be in a good position then. So I absolutely sympathise with that. I believe this trip will go ahead, and I predict that Zante will by then be on the green list, and therefore they will be able to go ahead. And sure, it's not going to be perfect. The bars may be open a little bit longer by then, but it's not going to be Zante as it was in 2019, I'm afraid. However, I think they can still have a great time. I was over in Portugal. There's various rules. They're still in a state of calamity there, so there's lots of mask wearing and everything. But overall, you're just desperate to get away.
Well, the sun will be shining and the beaches will be open.
Exactly, yeah. And you're in Greece. I mean, I love Glasgow, but frankly, you're more likely to get a beautiful sunny day and lovely blue water, I find, in the Greek islands.
All right, let's go on to Claire now. Hi, Claire.
Good morning.
Hi, Claire.
Good morning. Right, what's your question for Simon?
Basically, last year we had a trip to Spain booked. Prior to it, we knew it was not going to be possible, so we rearranged the flights for this year. Then what happened was the day after we were told that we couldn't go. Now, my travel insurance paid out on the car hire and the villa, but the flights, they've rearranged for this year. We don't want to go. Where do I stand? My husband's not been vaccinated, so he's not yet able to go anywhere.
Right,
Is there anything we can do?
OK, I can absolutely understand people who haven't been vaccinated not wanting to go anywhere, but there's no rule which says you can't. There's some countries like Iceland which say you can only come in if you've been vaccinated, but the vast majority are either saying you can come in anyway, or they're saying jab or test. And if you haven't had the 2 jabs, then you're going to have to take a test. I take my hat off to you for getting your travel insurance to pay out on the villa and the car rental. In terms of the flights, look, the airlines were, frankly, many of them rubbish last year. This year, they are much better. I've changed flights on EasyJet, on Ryanair, on British Airways. It takes 5 minutes. Yes, you're not going to get actual cash money back in your pocket, but you will be able to rebook for another time when hopefully your husband's had his jabs and you can look forward to another great escape. But I agree, it's far from perfect.
Claire, thank you very much. Melissa says, I booked a holiday to Kos in July with Love Holidays, which cost £2,000. Kos is now on the amber list, but we've been told we're not covered by our travel insurance. What should I do?
Well, wait, I'm afraid. I'm pretty sure that Kos will be on the green list by then, along with a number of other countries. There's a bit of a row going on in the government. Some ministers say do not expand the green list at all. The Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, this morning said he was going to, but brackets, not very much. So I imagine the sprinkling of Greek islands, maybe the Balearics of Spain, maybe the Canaries, certainly Malta will appear on the list. If it's not till July, frankly, we're talking, 2 months away.
A lot could happen.
An awful lot is going to happen in that time.
So the way we introduced you this morning was, should I stay or should I go?
Yes.
So what do you say?
Look, at this moment, I would urge people who are desperate for an escape, or more particularly, they have loved ones in various parts of the world they haven't seen for a year, to make their own decision. We're grown-ups. That's effectively what the government was saying to us on Monday. You know, we've had this unprecedented close down of travel. You are now going to have to make your own decisions. So do what you think is best for your circumstances, bearing in mind, of course, public health. And, as we were saying, stick absolutely to all the rules, whether that's filling in the right forms, taking the right test, doing your quarantine as you should be, and indeed, of course, just wearing a mask in the destination you're in when everybody else is wearing a mask. So, you know, you've got to be really, really careful. This is a time of great uncertainty for everybody, but for somebody you love, just go and see them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.